Figured I would try a video with just completely off the cuff. I do have a main basic topic, but I haven't. Pretty much all the other videos, I have like little notes or bullet points and like mini topics I want to cover. But this one, I just have the main topic, and I'm just gonna kind of see where it goes. So, one thing that I think about sometimes with drawing is basically the desire to draw and how much that can affect what you're doing. Because I remember back when I was working a full-time job and trying to basically break into comics or make a living from art, I would only have on the typical day, I don't know, like I'd get done with work, I don't know, let's say 4 p.m. And then you drive home, eat, maybe shower, whatever the case, and you're lucky if you've got a few hours in that day to draw. And you're using the most exhausted version of yourself to make anything. But your desire and your passion is at an all-time high because you're not getting to do it. And in a lot of ways, I think, not that you necessarily will make better art with that, but there's just something to the idea that you are dying to do it. When you're not doing it, you're thinking about it. I remember being basically angry that I wasn't getting to do it because so much of the day was just taken up with things I didn't want to be doing but had to. And then when you get to, if you're, lucky enough to, if your goal is to make a living with art and then you get to that space, yes, it is still enjoyable, but, I've been at this for about 8 years doing nothing but drawing. And I definitely do really like it, but spending 12 hours a day on it or so, on average, over time you lose that dying passion to be doing it all the time because you're constantly doing it. You're not even, in most of what you're doing, yes, it's what you want to draw, but you're not being forced to do it, but it's become a job. So, and part of what makes me think about this is another common piece of advice. It's maybe the most common, is the whole, draw every day. Draw every day. Just draw as much as you can. And I think that's been somewhat debunked at this point, even though, there's some truth to it. Yeah, the more practice you get, more than likely you will get better. But I just remember, like I said, when I wasn't drawing nonstop, it's almost like my batteries were full for creating. And it was more those few hours that, there would be some days that I'd be so tired, I unfortunately just could not really do it. I could maybe I only got an hour or half an hour worth of actual drawing time. So that is one end of the spectrum. And then where I'm at now is the other end, where you're completely draining those batteries constantly. You're just, the only real recharge is sleep, for the most part. Other than eating and, the basic life things. So it just makes you think, like, how do you balance that? Because if you're doing this full time, you really don't have a choice. And this is pretty much what you wanted, but it's something I didn't realize. And part of me thinks that a lot of this is due to my actual style, which takes so long to get really any progress on, that it almost requires me to spend this amount of time, because even working the entire day pretty much, you're only getting so much done. From one of my other videos, I mentioned, don't pay attention to other artists for many reasons, but another reason, and I really don't. I do try to pretty much mind my own business, other than admiring other art. But part of your brain does. You can't help but think. You're really only ever seeing people's wins. And what I mean by that is, you're only ever seeing. Yes, you do see. Process videos and things like that, but you don't really get the reality of what it's like to be a working artist. You do have live streams, but a lot of that tends to be a performance to one extent or another. What I'm trying to say is, especially if you're an aspiring artist, or, well, not even that, just any artist, and you're seeing, go on Instagram as an example, and you follow a bunch of artists, all you're seeing is finished pieces, generally. You're seeing all these accomplishments. You're seeing all these, just did this cover, just did this commission, oh, just drew a whole new graphic novel, 300 pages. And you're seeing just so much of it that it can kind of, I think it gets in your mind like, I'm not doing enough, or damn, they're drawing more than me. They're drawing so much more. I'm not doing anything. I'm spending all this time. So that's part of why, another reason I say you're more or less better off just kind of ignoring that stuff, because it's not reality. You're just seeing the end. You're not seeing the bad day where someone spent 3 hours procrastinating, or whatever, or they were drawing a face over and over and had to throw away the paper and just start over and over. You're only ever seeing the finished stuff, pretty much. And that's another reason I feel like of course you're going to look at it anyway, but try not to dwell on it. Try not to, scroll for 5 minutes, move on. Maybe get a little inspiration, use it, look at it in a positive way. Look at it in oh, that's cool. I want to be making stuff too. Don't try to dwell on it or overthink it, or, we can't help but compare. We can't help but, and like I said, you're comparing their finished thing to your reality. Your reality is 24/7. Your reality is nonstop. All the not great parts, all the parts that are tough, or all the parts that are not your favorite. And you're just seeing people's end. You're just seeing that one snapshot of, did this new drawing, it's done, it's perfect. It's you know what I mean? You're only ever seeing the good part, I guess. I mean, not the good part, you know what I mean. You're just seeing the end. Another thing too, I remember a while ago, maybe, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, before I knew any better, this is part of what made me learn to just not tell the everyday person that I'm an artist. Because in so many ways, it just turns into a negative experience for you. Basically, I remember one time, I think I basically had to say it because I was at the post office, and I think I had to say what was in the package, and the guy working there at the time, he was just, oh, what's in this? And I really don't remember exactly how this went because I try to just forget it, but all I remember is I said it was a drawing or some sort of original art, and then he started asking me questions, and there's all people around. I really don't want to be talking about this, but it ended with him basically saying, "Oh, that must be nice. You just sit around and draw all day, huh?" As if it's just, it's just peaches and cream. It's just there's no work to it. There's no, must be nice. And, you're constantly just shamed. And that's one little example. It just, and going back to my the initial thing I was saying with the whole, basically what it comes down to, at least for me, when you're working full-time as someone who draws, you're basically lacking desire to do it. And you have to fight the feeling of guilt. You have to fight the feeling of basically feeling wrong, or it can seem like it's wrong to feel that way because I guess you have it easy. Which in a lot of ways I do. It's not like I'm a coal miner or I don't know, whatever, some other difficult job. I know that. Why do you think I wanted it so bad? That's part of it. I'm definitely grateful. I'm definitely fortunate to be doing it. But it's not like there aren't other aspects to the reality of doing this. And now I really feel like I'm just talking to no one. But yeah, I don't really know what the point of this video even was. Like I said, I started it out just kind of with a basic topic and not really any major point. This one's just, I guess, for the people that, for whatever reason, enjoy the videos and they don't mind hearing me ramble on about this stuff. So, I don't really know where else to go with this. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Did any of this resonate? Did any of this, I don't know, did any of this make sense? Or just let me know what you think, if anything. Hopefully the next one I'll have more of a clear topic, more notes, and so, all right.